The Book of Esther, Chapter 2. A while later, when King Achashverosh's anger had subsided, he remembered Vashti, what she had done, and what had been decreed against her. The king's servants attending him said, "A search should be made for young, good-looking virgins. The king should appoint officials in all the provinces of the kingdom to gather all the young, good-looking virgins to the house for the harem in Shushan, the capital. They should be put under the care of Hegai, the king's officer in charge of the women, and he should give them the cosmetics they require. Then the girl who seems best to the king should become queen instead of Vashti." This proposal pleased the king, so he acted accordingly. There was in Shushan, the capital, a man who was a Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Yair, the son of Shimi, the son of Kish, a Binyamini. He had been exiled from Yerushalayim with the captives, exiled with Yekaniah, the king of Yehuda, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Bavel, had carried off. He had raised Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, because she had neither father nor mother. The girl was shapely and good-looking after her father's and mother's death. Mordecai had adopted her as his own daughter. When the king's order and decree were proclaimed, and many girls assembled in Shushan, the capital, under the care of Hegai, Esther too was taken into the king's house and put under the care of Hegai, who was in charge of the women. The girl pleased him and won his favor, so that he lost no time in giving her her cosmetics, her portions of special food, and 7 girls from the king's palace to attend her. He also promoted her and the girls attending her to the best place in the harem's quarters. Esther did not disclose her people or family ties, because Mordecai had instructed her not to tell anyone. Every day Mordecai would walk around in front of the courtyard of the harem's house in order to know how Esther was doing and what was happening to her. Each girl had her turn to appear before King Achashverosh, after she had undergone the full 12-month preparation period prescribed for the women, consisting of a 6-month treatment with oil of myrrh and 6 months with perfumes and other cosmetics for women. Then when the girl went to see the king, whatever she wanted would be given to her. Whatever she wanted would be given to her as she went from the harem's house to the king's palace. She would go in the evening. On the following day, she would return to another part of the harem's house and be under the care of Shaashgaz, the king's officer in charge of the concubines. She would not go to the king again unless he was especially pleased with her and had her summoned by name. When the turn came for Esther, the daughter of Avichail, whom Mordecai had adopted as his own daughter, to appear before the king, she didn't ask for anything other than what Hegai, the king's officer in charge of the harem, advised. Yet Esther was admired by all who saw her. She was brought to King Achashverosh in his royal palace in the 10th month, Tevet, during the 7th month of his reign. The king loved Esther more than all the women, and she won grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. The king then gave a great banquet in Esther's honor for all his officers and servants, decreed a holiday for the provinces, and distributed gifts worthy of royal bounty. When the girls would gather on other occasions, Mordecai would sit at the king's gate. Esther had not yet revealed her family ties or her people, as Mordecai had ordered her, for Esther continued obeying what Mordecai told her to do, as she had when he was raising her. On one of those occasions, when Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, 2 of the king's officers, Bigtan and Teresh, from the group in charge of the private entryways, became angry and conspired to assassinate King Achashverosh. But Mordecai learned about it and told Esther the queen. Esther reported it to the king, crediting Mordecai. The matter was investigated, found to be true, and both were hanged on a stake. All this was recorded in the daily journal that was kept with the king. End of Esther, chapter 2.